Hey, 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 we are live. It is Wednesday evening here it is sunny South Florida. The rain hasn't come yet, but it will be. Give it 10 or 15 minutes. The clouds should be rolling in. That's the South Florida weather pattern, right? It's always raining. But right now it's beautiful and sunny out, and birds are flying by. Nice day. Also, my grass is this tall. I'm not kidding. It's like my dogs hate me right now. They can't go out in the backyard because the grass has gotten so tall. It's absolutely ridiculous. And so I need to get the lawn cut. And I normally do it myself, but I think I'm going to hire the guys who do my neighbor's lawn because it's just hot and it's a pain in the butt. So I really don't want to deal with it. And I'll just let someone else mow the lawn this time. But anyway, welcome, guys. Welcome back to another live stream. We're going to wait as people get their notifications. And we see we've got a couple of you popping on. As always, little housekeeping. Don't be shy. Ask questions. You guys drive the show. That's what makes the show go better because you ask questions, and I'll do my best to answer those questions. But this week, I do have a guest. Thank God. My friend said he would come on. So I hate doing this by myself. It's boring. But I do have a friend, and he's a fellow realtor, and he's up in the cool part of Florida, up in Cocoa Beach. So we'll be bringing him on in just a minute. But as we get a few of you guys on, let's leave a comment. Go down here. I see Jelani left a comment at 3:16. Jelani, thank you. I don't go live till 6:30, but you must have gone to the YouTube channel and wanted to be the first one to say hello. So you get the applause for the early bird. So, but thank you, brother. I don't know if you're watching right now, but he's a local who always supports me, and I appreciate you. So thank you very much. A couple things. You saw the headline, the big, beautiful bill. Is that what it's called? Big, beautiful bill? Yeah, whatever. How that's going to affect real estate. We're going to talk a little bit about that and a couple other things going on in the real estate world of some stories that I searched out for you. And we'll talk a little bit about some programs going on here in South Florida and some new developments. And also I got the numbers for what's happening here in the month of May, so we can give you guys an idea of what the numbers were in the real estate world. And let me get my guest on. I'm not too sure. I'm seeing the connection is unstable. I'm really shocked that it's telling you guys that because I usually have really good streams. So I hope you guys are getting this okay. That's the first time I've ever seen that actually. So, hey, so hello. Let me hold on a second. Wait a second. I got to put Jelani up. He was first one at 3:18, even though I wasn't even live yet. So there, we'll put it up there, and then we'll go. There you go. So what's going on? How you doing? So all right. I hope you guys get a good signal. My cable's been acting wild. Our cable's been like acting stupid lately, and I think it's the weather. I don't know. It's Comcast. So that's who we have. That's who we're with. For good or bad. But all right, well, listen, I got my buddy here. He's a fellow, not only fellow YouTuber, fellow realtor, cool Floridian. His backyard's cool because he has some of the most amazing photos that you'll ever see because he basically gets to see every lift of every rocket that takes off in his backyard. And he's posted some epic photos of it and time lapse. Cool guy and fellow beer drinker. So let me bring on Mr. Eric Larkin. Hey, everybody. Welcome, Eric. What's up, big man?
Thanks for having me on, Paul. This should be
fun. How's Cocoa Beach doing, man? How's the surf, bro?
Surf's been flat, so there hasn't been really much of that lately. But we've been getting a lot of rain just like you have.
Yeah.
And, of course, the occasional rocket launch, too.
Yeah. I got to get that app. You told me I'm going to download that app so I can come up there when I come up and visit you because I will be going to Cocoa Beach, guys. If you've been following, and let me adjust my camera for a second. If you've been following the channel and you've seen my videos, my city tour videos where I get out and I go and explore, which I'm filming one tomorrow. It's going to be closer to home. We're doing a video tomorrow closer to home, but it should be pretty cool. I've already talked to Eric about going up there and doing a video in Cocoa Beach and highlighting, there's a really cool, that German section, that Germantown, you got the old village and some cool stuff and the pier and of course the surfing. And then Eric can tell us where we can get a good coffee, a good beer and some good food. So we'll get up there and we'll explore Cocoa Beach because it's another cool vibe here in Florida. Plus you get rocket launches. I mean, how cool is that, right?
It'd be great if we can time it where you're up here for one of those because there's something else to see live and in person.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, we tried to catch one time with the family and then it canceled. So that was for the Artemis, and which was a big one. right? And then they canceled it. And
It
we're like, oh
was.
man. So, but
Sometimes that happens. You know,
yeah,
they're not
yeah,
predictable. A lot
yeah.
of little
Well,
things could happen and throw it off.
yeah, yeah. They're safe, rather safe than sorry in the weather. But well, how's like I'm sure you're feeling the same pains we are in South Florida. I mean, you're not too far away, so the real estate up there. Like I actually saw that Martin County was sitting at 10 months of inventory, which is for people who don't know Martin County is like Treasure Coast, Jensen Beach. They're at like 10 months of inventory on their condos, which is insane. What's it like up in Cocoa?
Well, for condominiums, we're in that same boat. We're in an 8 to 10 month supply of condominiums available for Cocoa Beach, Cape Canaveral, where
Wow,
inventory is the highest I've ever seen it. There, you know, because Cocoa Beach and Cape Canaveral, they're small little towns. They're like 10, 11,000 population each. And, you know, we have 340 condos on the market right now between just those two towns. And you know, pre-pandemic, we were looking at maybe 220 was a high inventory level, and we're well above that right now.
that's crazy. Yeah, it's I mean it's I've been saying it on these videos and I've been saying it in my live streams, if you have the money, if you're financially positioned to buy, you can kind of go run the show right now. You can sort of like, hey, I'll make this offer. I mean, there's no guarantee the seller's going to take it, but I know right now I've seen sellers like, are they going to come back? Do you think they'll come back? And, maybe they'll come back. And I said, I don't know. They'd offer we said no to because it was low. He goes, well, do you think they'll come back higher? I said, I don't know. They might not. A lot of buyers are just walking. If they don't get the answer yes the first time, they'll go to the next one. So I tell everybody, it's super important to price it right. Don't play well, let's test the market and see. It's like, no, because buyers don't
Yes,
have the
this is
patience
not the
for it.
market for that. Not
It
at
is
all.
not to test the market. Oh, well, no, they won't. they'll bounce. They'll just go on. When you got 10 months of inventory, they'll find another property where they'll get what they want. So, but again, it's the interest rates dropped a little, so that was helpful. But we're going to talk about a couple programs today that may or may not help some people. And obviously, we got some stuff to talk about with the changes with our government and some of the things, the new law, the whole tax bill, and how that might affect the real estate world. With some of the programs that are in there, and then there's, like I said, we have some programs that came out in our county for first-time home buyers. That a program. I'm sure you guys get stuff similar to that up there, and they're offering up to $100,000. So we'll talk about that
Wow. Yeah,
program.
we don't have anything like that here. So
They don't
I'm
have any
interested to hear.
yeah, or like the SHIP program up there. Do you
No,
ever no? That's
no, we
interesting.
have the Heroes program, and every now and then the county will have some funds available. But the money that does come to available, if you're making over $60,000 a year, you're not eligible for it.
Obviously, this one had those requirements, and we'll talk about that as well. There's some requirements, well, cool. Well, so what I usually do here, brother, is I'll just go and share my screen, and we'll talk a little bit about what's going on. I got the tabs up, so we'll kind of go across the tabs and we'll talk about the stories, and let me go back to the comments. And so again, guys, you drive the show. I know there's only 7 of you on right now, so thanks for being with us this Wednesday. But if you have a question, please post it, or we'll try to answer the best we can, or just say hello. It's always nice to see people say hello. So all right, well, first, Eric, what are you drinking?
I am drinking a gluten-free New Grist IPA from Lakewood Breweries in Wisconsin.
Nice, nice. And I'm drinking a double sunrise from Selfish Brewing in my saltwater brewing glass, which is a cool brewery right down the street from me. And I like it because the back of the glass says "Explore the depths of beer." I like that.
Awesome.
They're getting deep. Whatever.
I should have grabbed a glass because it just opens them up that much more, especially with the IPA when you pour it and you get a nice little head on
Oh
there. It just
yeah, yeah.
all
It's
that
nice. You get
flavor.
the little frost in there. So all right. Well, cheers,
Mm-hmm.
everybody. Happy summer. Hope you all had a good 4th of July.
Cheers.
That's tasty. All right, well, let's get into it and let's see what we got here. What's going on with the big, beautiful bill? So let's go present. And you think I know how to do this, folks? This is a weekly joke, Eric. I'm like old man playing with technology. And
You need a co-host to help with the tabs and stuff like
yeah, I do. Share And where's it at? 3 changes. This is the one I want. Yes. 3 changes. I just got to make sure I'm picking the right one. And okay. So, all right. So, as you may or may not heard, the big beautiful bill was passed. It's now law in the United States, and has a whole lot of things involved into it. And I am not a lawyer, and I don't like talking about laws. Even when I did my law video, I tried to keep it as simple. Made a few mistakes on it, but I think I still told people about some of the Florida laws. But by no means am I a lawyer, and I don't really get into it too much. So we're not going to dive into it because this is not the channel for that. But we are going to talk about a couple of things that were in the bill that will affect us, for people that are looking to buy and sell homes or living in homes right now. And 3 key changes in the big beautiful bill that could affect housing. So as we come down here, and we'll just kind of scroll through this in Investopedia is where I get this. I guess that's this channel. But the key takeaways signed into law by President Donald Trump have several provisions that affect the housing market. The legislation restores tax deductions for mortgage insurance. It also expands low-income housing tax credits for builders who create affordable rental properties, and expanding the state and local tax deductions could also benefit the housing market in some areas. And Eric, anytime you want to jump in, you're welcome. I don't see you guys when I'm reading the screen right here.
It's all good.
All
You're
right.
covering it right now.
Yeah. So several provisions in the tax and the spending bill passed last week have the potential to help unlock the housing market. President Donald Trump signed the one big beautiful bill into law this weekend. The bill extends many provisions from the Tax Cuts and Job Acts bill that he put together back in 2017, and that will affect the real estate market. It also has some provisions that industry officials said could benefit the housing market. The provisions from the backbone of the real estate economy. These provisions form the backbone of the real estate economy, from supporting first-time and first-generational buyers to strengthening investment in housing supply and protecting existing homeowners, said Shannon McGahn, National Association of Realtors Executive Vice President and Chief Advocacy Officer. So the first one, obviously, is the mortgage insurance deduction could lower some homeowners' taxes. Basically, the bill restores a deduction for mortgage insurance. And if I see if this works, if I click on this, it takes just to give you an idea for those who may or may not know, mortgage insurance, stop moving, the screen jumps around. Mortgage insurance is an insurance policy that protects a lender or title holder, not you, but the lender or title holder, against financial loss if the borrower, that is you, defaults on payments or cannot meet the mortgage obligation. So in a nutshell, anytime you buy a house and you're not putting at least 20% down, you're going to have some form of mortgage insurance. It has a couple different terms: mortgage insurance premium, MIP insurance, or mortgage title insurance, but not to be confused with mortgage life insurance, because that, from what this little paragraph says, protects heirs if the borrower dies while owing mortgage payments. It may pay off either the lender or the heirs, depending on the terms of the policy. But we're not talking about that. We're talking about mortgage insurance up here, private mortgage insurance. And so if you're not putting at least 20% down, like on a deal, then you're going to have that. Or if you do an FHA loan, you're going to have it built in automatically, because you're only doing 3.5% down. And this can go away on a conventional loan once you get to about 21% equity, right, Eric? And about like roughly it's 20%. Once
Yes.
you're at 20%,
You have to request it though too. It just doesn't happen automatically.
I'll keep billing you as long as they're like, yeah, it's like a magazine subscription. Oh, you canceled? You didn't tell us. So yeah, so they'll keep doing it. So let me go back to, where was that? Oh no, I got to go back. That's what I have to do. So sorry guys. I just want to. So anyway, so that's what the mortgage insurance is. So let's read about it. So mortgage insurance deduction could lower some homeowner taxes. So the bill restores a deduction for mortgage insurance, which is generally used by homeowners who put down a small down payment than required by mortgage lenders. Smaller. Taxpayers who qualify got an average deduction of $2,364 in tax year 2021, the last year that the mortgage insurance deduction was available to this group, according to the industry group, U.S. Mortgage Insurers. However, the legislation increased the standard taxpayer deduction to $15,750 for single filers, $23,625 for head of household, and $31,500 for joint filers, while also limiting other itemized deductions. So they're. Let me go back to the. I feel like I jumped around a little bit here. So
Now,
it's on.
something I've noticed, I know you're talking about the mortgage insurance. I understand that you can start deducting now with the one big beautiful bill more of your property taxes off of your as an itemized deduction too.
Yeah,
So
with the salt.
that will
That's
help. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, yeah. We're gonna jump down to that. That's the third
Okay,
thing that
getting
they've
ahead of
implemented.
myself.
That's okay. So let me go back to the screen. So yeah, so all right, just seeing if there's any comments. So yeah, so basically they're allowing the deductions to come back, which will you'll be able to get those better deductions, which will help you. So from what I could tell, they did it for a while and then it went away, but now it's a much bigger deduction that they're going to allow people to deduct that. So that's good. And most people do have that because most people don't put 20% down. There's an article that I looked at and it was talking about how most people said you can't get a house unless you do 20% down. And that's not true. Most people were putting 13% down on a home. So, and of course, anyone that's buying FHA is getting in with 3.5% down. Again, that's not including closing costs, but just the general down payment of getting into a home. So, any kind of deductions that you can get because you pay on this until it may take you a long time until you get to that 20% equity in your property, and you need to again request it and say, hey, this is where we're at. I don't need that anymore, so please please stop sending it to me. So but yeah, so I mean, so look, again, if it can help, look, anything that can help us with less taxes, any kind of deductions we can get, is good. As I know people are needing it right now, and so hopefully this will help people out. Um, the third part of the bill that it looks like it's going to help is low income housing provision could lead to more rental properties. So it says another key provision in the bill expands the low income housing tax credit for builders who create or rehabilitate rental housing for low and medium income renters. The low income housing tax credit remains the nation's most effective tool for building and preserving affordable rental housing, said David Dworkin, President and CEO of National Housing Conference. These changes are expected to produce or preserve more than 1 million additional affordable rental homes between 2026 and 2035. The legislation will also make permanently opportunity zones, which provide tax incentive for developers in certain low-income areas. And these provisions come as low housing inventory has kept home prices out of reach for many Americans. Now, I had, thought I had a, where was it? Was this it?
Which tab was it?
I know, that's what I'm saying, because I had a tab saved. Oh man, what did I do with it? Sorry, I don't know what I did, but it was talking about Florida had a bill. I can't find it. Florida just did something in 2023 to also work with that and regarding making it easier for developers. Basically, what they did, DeSantis did was he passed a bill in 2023 that made it easier for developers to go in and develop in low income housing places, but they could use commercial, like they were allowed to develop projects in places that were once only commercial or zoned differently. And they basically said you could develop these projects in different areas. So it might make it a little bit more affordable for the developers. It might make it easier to get these projects off the ground, as opposed to maybe places that are only zoned for single family, right? And the land
Mm-hmm.
value is so expensive, it's cost prohibitive for them to do something like that. So I've seen a few projects pop up, and we're going to talk a little bit about a loan, but there's obviously still a major need for low income housing, because I mean, even all the way up, I know it gets a little less expensive when we go up the coast towards where you're at, but still the cost of living is pretty expensive anywhere
It
along the
is.
coast.
Yeah, I've got a buyer right now who's first time home buyer, and his budget's 175,000. And the most of the homes that are in this price range are they need total rehab, but
Yeah,
there's that one or two. Like we found one we submitted an offer on. It was a VA owned bank owned property, and hopefully we can present the terms that make sense for him so he can become a home buyer.
yeah,
But for him and other folks that are looking to get into the market, you're not buying your forever home for your first house. You're working your way up to it. It's just like Monopoly.
yeah,
You don't start out with Boardwalk and Park Place. You work your way up to it.
yeah. I mean, you got to get that first home and maybe put a little sweat equity into it. Hopefully,
Mhm.
live in for a while, make it yours, and then turn around and sell it, and hopefully make a nice little profit, and then get something else, or depending on at your age, we get you may just want to get into a condo at that point. But either way, but maybe it's a condo on the water, right? Just it depends. So we get those nice ocean views. Um, so that's one of the provisions in there. They're going to be working on the that and trying to help more low housing inventory be built here across the country. So now the third one that was on here uh, talking about this. And by the way, folks, I'm like, again, I apologize. I'm not a law person, so I try to bring some of these topics to mind because we're talking about real estate and how they can affect us. But by all means, I'm no expert on this stuff. If you want to go listen to a politician or a lawyer talk, they'll tell you exactly. I'm just trying to let you know that there's some provisions in there that may or may not help us as homeowners or potential homeowners. Now, what Eric was talking about was the SALT deductions, which could boost housing market in some states, and that is, Craig says, the new bill will also increase the state and local taxes SALT deduction, which lets taxpayers deduct what they pay in state and local taxes from their federal tax return. Now, here in the state of Florida, we don't have this first part. We do have local, but we don't have that first part. So, it may be a little different here, but the bill increased the SALT deductions from 10,000 to 40,000. However, the deduction will return to 10,000 in 2030. The Tax Cuts and Job Acts, or TCJA, a major tax reform bill that Trump signed in 2017, had set new lower limits on SALT deductions. So these provisions mainly help high income taxpayers in states that have high local taxes. In places like New York and California, while the bill doesn't address housing policy specifically, officials said the increased deductions could help the housing market in places with high local taxes. The cap enacted by the TCJA shifted some housing demand away from high SALT areas, reducing average annual home price growth in those areas with disproportionate impact on the most expensive homes, the bipartisan policy center said. So the bill also made permanent other provisions that industry officials said would benefit the housing market, including the 20% deduction for qualified business expenses, as well as the business interest reduction for real estate property transactions. So, and then I went over to this and talked a little bit about, talking about SALT. So the increase in the federal cap on the state and local taxes. I wanted to get the dumbed down version for me. Deduction to 40,000 as enacted by the new tax law. So potential for reduced federal tax liability. So Florida does not have state income tax. So for many homeowners, the SALT deduction primarily involves their property taxes. With the previous $10,000 limit, homeowners paying more than that in property taxes were unable to deduct the full amount. The new $40,000 cap could allow them to deduct a large portion or even the full amount of their property taxes, leading to the potential lower federal tax bill. And we all know that Governor DeSantis was doing everything in his power to get rid of, property taxes in the state of Florida. Um, Greater incentive to itemize the higher SALT cap may make itemizing deductions more beneficial for some homeowners, especially those with higher property tax bills, allowing them to potentially reduce their overall taxable income compared to taking the standard deduction. So, the potential impact on the housing market dynamics, experts suggest that the higher SALT cap could create a greater incentive to own in areas with higher property taxes and good schools. This might slightly shift demand and potentially impact the affordability of housing in certain neighborhoods within Florida. So, things to consider. While Florida does not have a state income tax, its property taxes are a significant component of the overall tax burden for homeowners. And the average effective property tax rate in Florida is slightly below the national average. Um, the temporary increase and the itemized requirement to benefit from the SALT deduction, homeowners must choose to itemize their deductions rather than take the standard deduction. Whether itemizing is advantageous depends on the total amount of their eligible deductions compared to the standard deduction amount. So, I mean, look, these are all things that could potentially help homeowners or potential homeowners. Um, anytime we can get any kind of deductions. I mean, I know it was great when I had kids and the credit for the kids, but once they become adults, boo hoo. Um, yeah, no more of that. So, these are all little things that you know we're not doing the politics because we won't do that on the channel. So, whether you like it or not, I mean, hopefully it helps everybody with home ownership, or those that are owning homes now, and helps them out a little bit, puts a little money in the pocket. With any of these policies, only time will tell. We'll see what happens. Um, that's the law of the land as of today. And so, whether we live with it or don't live with it, but we'll see what happens. But I know homeowners. There's a lot of people, man. It's funny. I know you saw that, Eric. That a lot of people in the state of Florida, like and DeSantis was saying, get rid of property tax. But then, of course, how do you pay for things if you eliminate property tax?
Exactly.
How do you pay for the schools, the roads? We know that the lottery didn't do it. The lottery system didn't do what it
Not
was.
at all.
So if they eliminate those taxes, but getting a deduction or some kind of bill that will help people, because we do have high, especially in Palm Beach County, we have pretty high. Our taxes are pretty high, and I know people come down, they look and go, they may see a price for the house, but then they go, ooh, the property tax on that's like
Yeah,
what?
when you look at what the bill's going to be now, it's
Yeah,
five, $6,000, $8,000 pretty
yeah,
easily for property taxes, depending on the price point that you're looking at.
yeah. So our buyers who come from out of state come down here, although they're saving on the state tax, they're not getting taxed as much with all those taxes that they're getting hitting New York. Sometimes when they look at the house and they look at their insurance bill and their tax bill, they're kind of like, I've had people say, is it really a savings like it
Well,
was 10 years ago?
a lot of times they don't understand as well. They're looking at a house where the person's owned it for 20 years. They've had it as a homestead exemption, and the
Yeah.
property taxes are ridiculously low.
Oh, yeah.
And
No,
and
no.
they're going to get slammed the next year of ownership when you're the
Um,
new owner on the
what is
property.
what is fine? My guys bought my buddy just bought a $905,000 house, but because he's a disabled vet, his tax bill is, I don't know, 700 a year,
Gone. Really?
something. Yeah,
Yeah.
even the mortgage owner is like, what? Like we're just like, it was so cheap, like that. But he's disabled. I mean, he served his country, rightfully so. Like I love our vets, and that they should get any break they can get. So, but yeah, it's. But anyone else, man, that's that would
Yeah,
have been
but until his exemptions kick in, he's paying the property taxes, and
yeah.
hopefully he remembered to file for the homestead too
Yeah,
to
they
get
just
the
he's
additional.
got he they just we just closed this summer, so they got time to do that. But yeah, so all right, guys, you are awful quiet. We got 15 of you. I mean, I know I have a great guest, and I'm trying to go through the stories, talk a little bit about stuff, but I've only got two comments, so you guys got to
Well,
come
where's
on.
everybody tuning in from? That's
Yeah,
always a
yeah,
good
we got
question.
17 of you guys now. Like you don't have to. It doesn't have to. You don't have to tell a life story. Just say, "Hey, Paul, we're watching you from." That's always a good one. That's
Yep,
what our buddy up in Orlando does all the time. He's like that, and
Ken.
yeah, Ken's like, "Hey, tuning in." So just say, "Hey, I'm from here." Trust me, we won't steal your information. We
Not at
can't.
all.
I don't know who you are, where you live, and I don't have your email and all that, so I can't send you a bunch of real estate stuff. Not that I would anyway. But if you do want to sign up, for my newsletter, go scan the QR code or go click one of the links in one of my videos and stuff. So watching from Maryland, there you go. International Aussie Girl 67. Love the name. Hold on, let's put her
Awesome.
up. There we go. Wow. Well, we got a friend up there in Maryland. Got a couple people we know up there.
Yep. Cheese
But
up there. Oh, dang.
Malcolm's from Maryland.
Malcolm Lawson's up that
Malcolm
way,
Lawson, good YouTube guy. Great. He taught me a lot about YouTube. So,
and
um,
Mother Hustler. What's her name? She is. She does a lot on TikTok, but she also has a YouTube channel. She's an EXP agent.
nice. We got Rob from
I've drawn up one.
Pittsburgh. All right.
Pittsburgh's in the house.
You
As a
guys
kid
gonna,
growing up, I was a huge Pittsburgh Pirates fan.
yeah. Feel the Eagles gonna do it again.
I hope not, because we're
Sorry,
both
Rob.
Cowboys fans, right?
Rob just unsubscribed. He's like, that channel sucks. Don't ever watch this loser. Thanks.
Pittsburgh is the Steelers. It's not the Eagles.
Oh, that's right. I'm sorry. I'm getting totally
So
confused. It's the P. It's
don't
the P
insult Rob
thing,
like
man.
that.
It's the P
Yep.
thing. That's right. That's right. Okay, we like the Steelers are cool. 'Cause I'm a
Yes,
Cowboy fan, so I like the Steelers. That was always fun. So back in the day. But all right, well, thank you guys for checking in. I really appreciate it. So
it was good.
it's like we're almost. It's hey man, it's July. We're getting closer to football. Thank God.
Yeah,
I
we
don't
are.
like a lot of sports. I mean, I don't hate them. I like Formula One. Do you watch Formula One at all?
Not really. No, I haven't really gotten into the racing.
Formula One this week, and the British Grand Prix was insane, insane. So just imagine, and then they just got the Red Bull, the guy that was like running Red Bull for all these years, Christian, is married to a Spice Girl. So
Oh,
maybe
look
that's
at
it.
that.
Might be, yeah. Anyway, corner they just dumped this guy. Left after all. He's been there since 2005, so he's been there for a long time.
So, are you a baseball fan?
No, I like football. I like college football mainly. As you can see behind me,
Yeah,
over there, Hook 'em
Longhorns.
Horns. I love
Yep,
college football. That's what I like to watch and stuff. So I mean, if I went to a game with the guys, like if you were down, Paul, let's go to a game, go down and see the Marlins play, be kind of fun, and but like there's so many games, man.
there is.
It's a
I'm
lot of
trying to get.
games too.
I'm trying to get over to Tampa to watch a game because the Rays are playing now in where the Yankees do their spring training. So it's a
Because the
much
stadium
smaller
was damaged.
field.
Yeah,
Yeah. So that'd be pretty cool to see a pro game at that, not just like an exhibition game.
I've got Vero on my list of cities to cover, and I'm going to talk
Mhm.
about Dodger Town,
Excellent.
the history, how cool that was. So, um, common sense. Look at all the wasteful local, county, city taxes your Democrat-run corrupt local government is allowed by you to charge. In my county, half of the taxes are wasted on this, and 5% yearly rate. Yeah, yeah. I mean, guys, taxes are no one likes taxes, and no one's ever happy. I think with what their city does. Whether it's I
There's
just
always
it,
room for improvement. That's for certain.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, government is good. I mean, without like just government is government, y'all. I'm not a fan. I don't hate government. I'm just like, I just don't. It's not even worth talking about sometimes because first of all, everyone's argues both sides. No one can talk anymore about it. And honestly, until they stop giving themselves pension for the rest of their life and the best medical health care, I really don't care what they say
Yep.
because no matter what, doesn't matter what party's in, they get the best health care and they get a pension for the rest of their life. I almost told my son, why don't you just go into politics? You only got to work 4 years and then you can sit on your butt and do nothing and you get a great paycheck the rest of your life. Honestly, I mean,
Unless you like this comment here was talking about the county and city, they don't get that
no,
kind
they
of
don't.
benefit, and they
Yeah,
don't really get any type of pay either. I mean, if you look,
no, no.
the mayor of Cocoa Beach, I think makes $6,000.
Yeah, yeah, that's it's a little different for the county level, but
Yeah,
anyway, all right, no politics. So just
no, not at
I
all.
wish I got benefits the rest of my life. I mean, be a nice little bonus and the best healthcare. But
You're getting the
Cassie,
benefits of YouTube.
yeah, well, that is fun. This is a
Yep,
fun job. I'm glad I started doing this. Hi, everybody, watching from Orlando, YouTuber, senior Instagram. Oh, awesome, cool. Well, thank you,
very cool.
Tassie.
Thanks for
Um,
joining, Tassie. Yeah,
Yeah, thanks. One of our I want to say he's our idol, but he's definitely an amazing YouTuber. Is in Orlando, the real Orlando with
Mr.
Ken,
Posick.
and
Yeah.
he's just guy's got such a good channel. Really, he's got a fantastic. Like I produce all my own stuff, like you, Eric. We probably produce our own stuff.
Hmm.
He has a whole production team. He has media producers, guys who follow him around, do everything. But the quality of his videos, man, I've always been impressed with his stuff. They're
Yep.
just really well put together. Um, and all right, Dana, hi, I'm from Boston, but I have in Lake Worth Historic District. I love your channel. Thanks for keeping us informed. Ah, thank you, Donna. Donna, I love the Historic District.
That's
Donna, you
cool.
know that they're redoing the hotel, right? The Gulfstream Hotel is going to be opening in later 2025, maybe 2026. So it's an old hotel, Eric. It's been closed, God, since I've been here. I moved here in '92. I don't think it's been open at any time that I can remember, and I've been here since '92. But I didn't really pay attention probably to Lake Worth till maybe later on when I moved down a little further, closer to it. But it's a cool old hotel right near the water. Just got this really cool design. And I always looked at it and said, man, that would be like such a cool place with like a jazz bar. You walk in and that vibe. And so apparently they're putting money back into it and they're going to be building it and redoing it. It's going to open up. So, which would be a cool story to talk about. So it's
Most
historic
definitely.
and it's going to be really neat. Oh, this guy. Watch this guy. So Carl has been following me from like, I don't know. He's one of my original subscribers and he's been a super cool guy. He's always supported me. He used to live in Boca, watching from Surprise, Sarasota. What? Where I'm, what? You're made a deal.
Going to
Oh,
the
wait a
West
minute. Wait
Coast.
a minute. But just where he made a deal to buy a house. And dude, you've been following me for 7 years and you didn't call your boy Paul to at least hook you up with someone in Sarasota? Carl, come on. All right. All right. All right.
You're
Like,
forgiven.
we'll forgive him. He's closing next week. I mean, like, I thought you were coming back to what happened? I thought you wanted to come to Boca, man. Come back to over the East Coast. Come on, West Coast, East Coast, where it's at. But all right, Carl. Well, congratulations, man. I still love you. Still appreciate you supporting me. Let's see what else we got. I love it. Thank you guys for the comments. We love it when you pitch in. My city commissioners doubled their salaries with the vote last year, adding no extra work. City also sneaked in subsidizing a grocery store, and now they're adding a city council subsidized housing here. Interesting. Common sense might want to start getting into politics. He might want to maybe run there.
Hopefully it's a good grocery store.
Yeah. Donna, yes, I'm excited. Hoping they paint it pink. Did a ghost hunt there once. Amazing. Oh, cool. Yeah.
Cool.
It's funny. Donna, when I would drive by there and look, or I was making videos, one time I was walking by shooting a video about Lake Worth, and I remember looking up the window and I kept going, just keep looking. Maybe you'll see one. Like, I kept thinking, like, like The Shining or something. Like I see a curtain open up and a ghost looks at you.
You'll see it on the editing. Like, you'll edit the clip and be like, oh, what is that?
What is that? I know, right? It's the place would be creepy to be in there at night by yourself. But and then we don't need city county government Florida. That would save most property tax. So we don't need city county government Florida. Yeah. Well, yeah, but who's going to run the city? I mean, if they leave it up to the people, we'd really be in a mess. I dropped back in the country 2 weeks ago, bought a car in Boca. Okay. I couldn't help you there. Although I do know looked at the house prices, bike routes, and ran to the West Coast. Oh man. Well, you should at least shot me a message. I at least could have had a beer with you, but all right. Well, when I come to the West Coast, you got to buy me a beer and dinner, Carl. That's the least you can do, right? We'll split it. We'll have fun.
Figure something out.
Thanks, Carl. He has really been with me for a very long time. So great guy. And then what? I love the names.
Something about the desert heat. That's something else.
109 degrees. Jeez. Wow. Yeah.
I don't mind our Florida humidity and heat when I see things like that.
Dude, I walked out to the car today and it was so hot. I don't know if you do this or if I'm crazy. I take my hose and I spray the car down because the glass is like just a magnifying glass right? I just spray that window down and the sunroof. I swear it helps cool the car off just a little, just enough to get in and be, so I'm not sticking to it. All right. Oh, look, see, I'm not out of the game. All right. It's fair deal, Carl. You know how to reach
Carl's
me,
been
man.
forgiven.
You've got my email. You definitely know how to reach me. I would love to meet you. And shoot, he's cool. He's followed my story, like my YouTube video about the condos and how it went. So he got out. He was smart. He sold his condo in Boca when they first started to get some assessments before the collapse. Like he said, this is way back. He started to, like, he kind of saw some writing on the wall. He says, yeah, this is BS. Sold his condo, moved over to, I think, Singapore. I know he's been living somewhere over there and just beautiful, loving it. And he was over there and just loving life. And he saw my video, and that's how I found it. And he's told his story to me and a few other people. And he said they watched that condo just have assessment after assessment. And some of his friends just it just got really bad for them. And what's the topic today? Well, we just got through talking about the big beautiful bill and how that's going to affect real estate. So you can be able to deduct some of your if you paid cash, you're good. But if you financed it and you have any property mortgage insurance, well, you can deduct some of that now. And he was in the Philippines. There you go.
Oh, got it.
Yeah. So, which I really want to go check out and travel over there. So
now, something with the one big beautiful bill that's kind of going to help Brevard County anyway, the Space Coast. You've heard that Trump is slashing the budget of NASA. So they're reducing the budget like 25, 26%. Yeah. But someone snuck in like $10 billion into the one big beautiful bill to help the Artemis program and a few other things. So,
oh, wow.
It's not going to necessarily help real estate, but it'll help folks that are working at the Space Center that's somehow tied to Artemis and the International Space Station to kind of keep those programs going.
Those programs need high-tech people with high-paying jobs. And if those people come to the Treasure Coast or the Space Coast, and those people need to buy homes or places to live. Or
keep their house.
Huh? or
Or
keep
keep
their
their
house, or
house.
keep their
Yes.
house. So yeah, I mean, look, obviously, if there's something in there, you take a positive from it, right? Let's try to look at the positive what we can. That could certainly help out. And I know that interesting. I saw a thing that DeSantis and this state was working on. This is I don't know the full details, but everyone, if you know what a non-compete is, if you're not a non-compete, it's when you work for someone and you sign a non-compete. And I want to go work. Say I'm working here, and I say I'm going to go work with Eric now, but I signed a non-compete. My boss could say, no, you can't work for Eric for 2 years because you know all our trade secrets. Uh, so apparently in the tech industry, that's really big because they're trying to get these AI techs and all these people. And so the state of Florida apparently passed something that makes it, I don't know, very friendly to people. The version of the non-compete makes it more friendly than any other state in the country. And so they think that it's going to attract a lot of high tech people. And they're also trying to get high tech jobs here in the state of Florida. And a lot of companies might want to move here. So we've got some high tech jobs coming here to Florida already. We already have a couple hospitals coming into West Palm Beach, Cleveland Clinic. We've got Vanderbilt University opening up a campus. So I love that because I've said for years, look, South Florida is expensive. It is an expensive place to live. People cannot afford to buy homes here on the hospitality budget. You just can't
Not
buy a
at
house
all.
on a bar backs and waitresses budget. You need to have they need some good jobs and stuff. So if they can provide more jobs like that for South Florida and high paying jobs, then people could actually have a high paying, a better lifestyle. So, and of course that would benefit everybody. Um, but we'll see what happens with that. But that's cool, man. That's good for you up there. So,
Yeah, I was happy to see that.
all right. So I rambled. Let me jump because I'm getting back. So, all right. So we talked about some of the deals there, and so let me see. We get rid of that. All right. So this one is one I was interested. So talking about buying homes and being expensive. This one was interesting, Eric.
Lay it on me.
Buyers need a $17,000
Oof.
raise to afford a typical home. Now this is a national. This is a Zillow. It's not just Florida, but it says median earners can now afford earners can now afford a typical home in only 11 major markets, down from 39 5 years ago. So let's go through the article and it just tells you the median income family needs a 17,000. Hey boss, I need a raise. Yeah, what do you need? I need $17,670. What? Yeah, you need a raise to afford the mortgage payments on a typical U.S. home, and again, that's probably more in South Florida, even with the 73,257 saved for a 20% down payment. Although most people are not doing 20%, there's many
No.
mortgages you can get a 3% conventional loan if you got the right credit with a lender. But in four California markets, median earners would need a six-figure raise. Six
Wow.
figures, brother, to afford a typical home. Affordability challenges for buyers have increased interest in single family rentals, which I've told stories about that. It says 5 years ago, the median income household could afford a typical U.S. home. Today, they're more than 17,000 short, even if they have $73,000 saved for down payment.
Well,
Um,
what is the median home price in your area? Do you know that?
um,
Sorry to put you on the spot.
no, no, hold on.
You got it. Yeah, I was just pulling up my spreadsheet
Yeah.
so I can have the
So the
numbers here.
median sales price for May, six hundred and
Yeah,
forty thousand. So it
and
dropped a little,
you want to save
5,000.
$300,000 in your house purchase? Come to Brevard County. So in May, the median home price was $359,900,
Yeah,
$360,000.
yeah. That's why I like going up there and talking about it, man. There's some great places up there, and it is less expensive. Let's see. Hold on, I need a sip. It's reading.
I do have to say that last time we were down your way, the water is just absolutely beautiful. Just the color, the bluish green color of the intercoastal and the ocean that's in the Palm Beach area is just
It is
phenomenal.
pretty. It is pretty, and it's a bigger city. Like I mean, we have
Hmm.
bigger, more options, more restaurants, more things, if that's what you need. But this whole series of me making videos about small Florida towns, it isn't to drive a bunch of traffic. First of all, if you guys are watching me and you live in one of those towns, my goal is not to send a bunch of people to live and crowd your city. That is not my intention at all. Um, I just, for one, America's a free country, and if someone wants to live somewhere, they have a right to live there. So, if they want to. My goal is just showing that it's a neat place. And I don't even really talk real estate much when I do these videos. I promote local businesses. I promoted the local beer, the Treasure with Mel Fisher, and a surf camp. I do a blip about real estate if someone wants to. And most people aren't going to watch a video and move there, but I want them to travel there and at least explore Florida and go there and check these towns out. If they do happen to fall in love with it, who knows? They might be your next best friend. They might be like
Yeah.
Carl, who's going to come buy me a dinner and a beer at one of these nice Florida restaurants. So, but yeah, so it is cool up there, and you got I can't wait to come up and do a video with you up in Cocoa, man. It's charming. It's a fun place. It's neat to visit. And the best part is, guys, you can live down here in West Palm Beach and drive up to Cocoa Beach, and it's a 2 hour drive, right? About 2 hours. Yeah.
About that, yeah, give or
Yeah.
take.
Yeah.
And
It didn't
pretty
take long.
soon they just announced. How close are you to the Brightline? Are you near a Brightline station?
Yeah. It's in West Palm. I'm fairly close to it.
Okay, because they just announced one in Cocoa on the mainland that they have the spot and the location, and hopefully it'll be open in 2028.
Nice.
Is what they're saying. So
You
that'll be
hop on the
nice once
Bright
it's
Line.
finally built out. What's
Do
that?
hop on Brightline, do the first class. You get a little lounge. You
I've
get the
never ridden it
cocktail.
yet because I have to drive to either the Orlando area
Yeah.
airport or West Palm Beach.
That's pretty cool. It's a pretty neat train. We took it to the food Miami um, beach. They did the big food show down there. I forgot what they call it, Wine and Food Fest. And we went down there, my wife and I, years ago, and we took it down, and it was really cool. It was really neat. You got
Yeah,
down to Miami and saw that. So it wasn't too bad.
I'm
It's
looking
good.
forward to checking it out once that's finally built out. But we got a few
Absolutely.
more years.
Yeah. Um, so the housing market is friendlier for buyers this spring than in any spring since before the pandemic. Inventory is up. We all know that. Home values are softening, and a record number of sellers are cutting their list price for the first time for this time of year. However, incredible home value growth and higher mortgage rates in recent years have reset the financial bar for home ownership. These affordability pressures have helped chill buyer demand while amping up interest in single family rentals. Um, the typical so to comfortably afford a typical U.S. home. This is U.S. average, folks. 367,969. A buyer today needs to make nearly $100,000 a year,
Wow.
which means a household making the median income would need a $17,670 raise. That's assuming they have 73 saved for 20% down. And if the same household only has enough saving for a 10% down payment, they'd need to raise $36,287. Median owners would need to raise at least 100,000 in four major metro areas, all of which are in California, which makes sense. It's very expensive out there, unfortunately. And even with a whopping 330,000 saved for a 20% down payment, 330,000 saved for the down payment. Holy my God, that's a house in your area, Eric.
Yep, that's more than I paid for my property I'm living in now.
Yeah, a median income household in San Jose would need to raise more than 250,000 to afford the typical home. Median income household would also need six figures raises in San Francisco, Los Angeles, and San Diego. Um, there are 11 major markets where the median income is enough to afford the typical mortgage payment, down from 39 such markets 5 years ago. These are generally mid-sized markets in the Midwest and the Northwest. Median earners in Cleveland have the most room to spare, making 11,588 more than what's needed to afford a typical home, followed by Pittsburgh. There you go, Pittsburgh, um, St. Louis, and Cincinnati.
Full
Uh,
circle. I like that.
yeah, successful buyers are looking under every rock to come up with down payment big enough to allow them to afford monthly payments. More than half of buyers tap at least two sources, most commonly savings, 72%, the sale of previous home, a gift or loan from mom and family or friends. So, um, yeah. So I thought that was an interesting article that, it's still, even with prices coming down, and I think obviously these numbers will change as the prices come down a little bit more, but, and then prices are dropping. We're seeing prices drop all the
If
time.
the interest rate changes just a little bit, that'll help with that as well.
Yeah. Well, the Fed's being, we're,
Well, is
yeah.
what it is. We
Yeah,
have no control of that.
we don't. So, um, but if you keep, like I said, if you can find something, get out there and you can negotiate some credits and some deals with the sellers. I'm going to be interested to ask Carl how his purchase went, and 'cause I know he's been watching the market very closely. Um, but yeah, so I thought that was pretty interesting that everybody needs a raise. So I did see that my wife might be getting a raise, so that was good. She sent me a text today, so
Goodness.
that's cool. So well, let me go to the next story then. So we'll jump into it because since you people now this is obviously it's not going to help everybody, and this is more of a Palm Beach County thing, but so West Palm Beach, first-time home buyers in Palm Beach County are getting some major help. The county is opening up applications for its Home Investment Partnership First-Time Homebuyer Program, offering up to $100,000 for new home buyers. The program is giving more Palm Beach County residents the chance to call themselves homeowners. This program is run by the county's Department of Housing and Economic Development. It says we provide up to $100,000 for down payment assistance, new construction acquisition, and closing costs, said Darina, Director of Mortgage and Housing Investments with the Palm Beach County Housing and Economic Development. It says this year the county is receiving $3 million in federal funding from the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, which will then be distributed to assist to each eligible applicant until the money runs out. It says you could not have had a mortgage in your name for 3 years, so you can't have had anything in 3 years, and that qualifies you as a first-time home buyer. You must purchase the property within Palm Beach County. Sorry, Eric. And also, you must come to the table with the pre-approval from a lender. Now, there are some income requirements, as Eric mentioned earlier. One person household can earn no more, and this is funny, Eric, watch how it jumps. A one person household can earn no more than $65,640. Doesn't go to four, it jumps to six right away. A six member household, so can earn no more than
So you
108,500.
need 4 kids,
I guess
right?
so. And the property purchase price cannot exceed 568,500. Now, for those watching out of Florida, that may sound like, wow, that's a lot of money. I did a little research before I went live and I went and looked on Zillow to see what was out there. There wasn't much. Not really. Not for 568. Not for five. I was looking at 560, looking down. There really wasn't a lot available, which was sad. So I don't know. Maybe that was just I thought maybe I did a wrong search or something, but it did a whole thing all the way through Palm Beach County and even all parts of Florida. And I just looked in the Palm Beach area, and there wasn't a whole lot. And I did 3 bedroom, 2 bath, so which was what most people would want. But I was shocked that there weren't a lot of properties available. I thought there'd be at least more homes with it. But again, keep in mind, I don't think sellers have quite grasped that this is like they're trying. I think they're still trying to hold on to 2024 and 2023, right? I think they're still thinking they can get that number. And look, I have properties, I represent sellers, but I go in and tell them, guys, we're in a different market. This is not the market to think you're going to kill it. Price it right, look at the comps. And even with that, people are going to come and look at your property and they may look at it and they may come back and they'll wait. They'll wait because they have so many other properties going. Although maybe not in the 500,000 price range. Again, it depends on where you're looking. It depends on what exactly the home where you're looking at. But there are a lot of homes and a lot of condos out there in certain areas. But even with the limited amount of supply, we don't see people rushing to make a decision. I
Not
have
at all. No.
because
And
they know
I
there's
mean,
something's
just
going to
looking at
pop
the
up.
inventory, like the inventory we talked about a little bit at the beginning, here in Brevard County, we have 1,000 more properties to choose from than just last year.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a lot of properties, and buyers are kind of, they know that there's going to be a handful of new properties coming on the market next week. So they're not, unless they absolutely love it and the property checks all their boxes, they're going to take their time in making a decision.
Yeah, and I didn't use the MLS. Had I used the MLS, it probably would have been. I usually don't search through Zillow. I use the MLS and search. Maybe there have been a few more filters and pulled up some more. But yeah, it's they're definitely not jumping on it like they don't have to. A lot of the buyers out there, and then, again, a lot of buyers are holding. It's kind of weird because there's not a lot of buyers out there right now. They're also kind of holding back. So, and there is the inventory that's out there. So it's giving them the options to take a little bit more time. But even in Palm Beach County where I looked, it's still a little bit expensive. I think we'll see the prices drop. I think there's still a lot of sellers holding on to wanting to keep that high price, and I just don't think it's going to happen for them. I mean, some might get it, but I've seen like 200 days. I see a lot of properties expiring, falling off, and people aren't jumping on it. So let's see.
Let's see.
Properties
Townhouse
would be
days.
well. Properties would be located in F-rated school. Search by school rating. Yeah, I don't know.
What
I
is search
it
by
searched.
school
It was
rating?
searching. So it was looking all over when I did that search on Zillow. It pulled up again. I just did it quickly. I didn't put much. It was right before the show, and I was just trying to pop to see if there was something in there. So, but I'm sure if I did another search, um, but anyway, look, for someone that needs a home, maybe they don't need to worry about the school, and they can find a property. And again, I was looking at single family. There's townhomes. Maybe they can get a condo if it's something, a villa that might qualify to get them into a house. If someone can get $100,000 to help them buy a property, they can get into home ownership, and it meets their needs. It's going to help somebody. It may not help everybody, but
So,
I'm sure there's
so
some
for
people.
that 100,000, can they get creative and maybe buy a duplex or a triplex
I don't know. It said
because they're
single
four
family. It
units?
said new construction, and it said
Oh,
refine it. But yeah, so I didn't see what it talked about. Let me see.
well, new construction, I imagine, is probably pretty pricey in your area too,
Yeah,
unless
it's
you
there's
have the
nothing for
D.R.
new.
Horton and that type of track home.
They're not going to find anything for in new construction that I could. If they go up north, but it's in Palm Beach County, so I know there's homes dropping in prices up north in Martin County. I was like, wow, I couldn't believe some prices for new homes, but um, I was just trying to look where it said. So your mortgage for 3 years. Yeah, I'm not too sure where it was. Anyway,
Right. It's all good.
yeah. So, but if you're interested in that and you're watching, the applications launch on July 23rd at noon and will end August 20th, or until 100 applications have been submitted. So,
And I bet you those applications go quick.
oh yeah, yeah, guaranteed. So, um, let's see. Let me go back. Let me get out of that. So, all right. So we're at 56. Wow. Let's see. Let's see. We got a couple comments real quick. Hold on. Precisely, likely to change gradually, then suddenly, a la Hemingway. And suddenly, I love Hemingway. A cool history book about Hemingway. What a neat guy. Interesting. You ever been down to Key West?
It's been a while, but yeah, it's fun
You
down
ever
there.
check out Hemingway's house? I always
I
wanted
did.
to. Yeah, I got to go check it
Awesome.
out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't. It's that.
I'd
Oh,
probably appreciate it more now than 20 years ago when we went, but yeah.
yeah, yeah. Well, yeah, 20 years ago. Yeah, I know what I was doing 20 years ago when I went.
Yeah.
So many choices in some areas, even in the 500 to 600 range. So few or none at all in other areas. Yeah, it is. You're right, Carl. It is, and that's it. Just depends on when you look. There could have been properties and they had it, and then they didn't get what they wanted. They took it off the market. Um, so that's very true. Very true. All right. So speaking, I did want to share. So just to give you guys go back to this. So for the market snapshot, um, here for 2025 for the month of May in Palm Beach County, they had 1,335 properties sold, a little less than last year. In cash, there was 572 versus 662. We know that number has dropped. It was high. I believe 24% of all purchases in 2024 were cash. Um, the median price obviously went down. You can see here that the original list price received, right? So from what they priced it at to what they got, 93.2 versus 94.1. That also dropped. So these are all things that buyers are looking for, not necessarily sellers, but sellers need to pay attention to this. Median days to contract, 30, took from 39 to 42. And sorry, my phone keeps texting. It's my wife texting my son, I think, or me, but I'm trying to make it quiet. And then inventory. Look at the inventory. Not huge, but
Can you
you
share
know,
your screen?
is it not sharing?
No, we're still seeing the 17,000 raise.
Um,
Buyers need to raise 17 grand.
hold on a second. Oh, you are. I apologize. Let's see. Why did it do that? I apologize, guys. Thanks for catching that.
Yeah, man.
Um, I thought when I clicked over, it automatically would share, but I guess it doesn't. So you guys never saw 17,000 then either, did you?
Well, we saw the 17,000 that was on there, and it's been on there for a little bit.
Okay.
But I know the stats. If you have a graph or however it's
Yep.
written out, even if it's a spreadsheet, will look
You see
pretty
it now?
cool. Yep, got
All
it.
right. Sorry,
Beaches
folks.
MLS.
Thanks, Eric. I can't see the screen when I'm looking at you guys. I can only see the screen that I'm reading. Yeah, you're fine. So here's the numbers. Just giving you guys going back a recap of all that. Months of inventory 5.8. So it's that's May. I think it's increased for June. This is May. It's definitely getting into the sellers, the buyers market. But then we come down to townhomes, and you want to look at everything. Look at the numbers here: 941 versus 1134, paid in cash. 330 versus 340. Everything days 44 to 60. Look at the inventory though, 66, 18 to 80. We're from 7 now 10 months supply of inventory, and that's May. And I think we're above that for June. I believe we're almost at 11, close to 12. So lots of so that's the market snapshot for Palm Beach County on that. So all right, so I'm going to stop sharing that. You still
our supply for condos beachside pulled back to 8 months in June, but we were over 10 months in May.
Well, I'm sorry, I was reading the comment. What was that again?
I said I was just talking about, since you were just talking about the condos and how much inventory's jumped. Our inventory for Cocoa Beach, Cape Canaveral was over 10 months supply for condos.
Right. Please provide the information on how to put in an application for that house. The picture is cloudy. Can't read it.
Do you have a link?
Are you talking about the application for the loan process, Red Shoes? If that's what you mean, I can try to leave. I'll leave a link after this video. I'll go. I don't know who the company who does it, so I'll go see if the report has a way to reach out. But you will need to get with a mortgage lender. So if you want to reach out to me, I can put you in touch with one, because you have to have a loan, a pre-approved loan, before you go talk to them. It said that in the article, and I heard them say that in the news. So you do have to make sure you're pre-qualified and have that. But I'll try to see if there's a link for it. Let me see. Let me get rid of that. That's pretty much it. The last thing I had, there's a big development. I don't really need to talk about. There's a big development going up in Port St. Lucie. But it's not that exciting. I mean, it's more big development. It's going to be pretty cool for Port St. Lucie if you guys live up there. New shopping, destination, restaurants, and all that. It's going to be like a really big project. So let's see what we have. Interested to see what Florida market does if Mandini gets like I mentioned that in last week's video, and I didn't want to come across again bringing politics into it. I've just had people tell me. I've heard it like literally on phone calls to me from people talking about like a lot of New Yorkers might move to Florida if this guy wins. And, like, again, I don't want to get political about it, folks, because I've had just as many people tell me that they won't move here or would leave because of the governor we have running our state. So again, it's all depends on what you like. If you like Florida and you like the policies that are in place, and move here, and you're great. If you don't, you move to another state.
And 4 years goes by quickly, hopefully.
It does. So it just, I try to point out why I love Florida for what Florida is. The beaches, just like you said, Eric, everything that I love about living here. I can't change those people, any of them, whatever part of it.
We can't control them at all.
All I can do is try to do my life, work every day, take care of my wife and kids, make as much money as I possibly can, support myself, and enjoy life, and go out and enjoy what I can. That's it. Don't mess with my beer. Don't mess with my fishing. Don't mess with my YouTube. Let me make my videos, and I'm a happy guy. Leave me alone. Everything else, whatever. I'm not interested. What does it say? Sam says, is he the politician wanting to end property taxes? Yes. Yes. DeSantis would like to end property taxes, but the likelihood is that it's not going to happen, because to end property taxes, you have to find a way to supplement all that money, which
our sales tax will go to 12%,
right? $43 billion.
Yeah, it's a
roughly.
lot.
So it's a lot of money to look. Nobody would want to pay property taxes. I'm sure every household would love to not pay property taxes. I have some friends paying ridiculous property taxes, but where is that money going to come from? Because those same friends and all those people have firefighter, police friends, EMS, their kids go to schools. Where are those things going to get paid for? And I know some people are like, well, my kid doesn't go to school. It's not my problem. I said, all right, well, I mean, like, again, it's why we don't talk about it. There's no answer that
Yep.
makes anyone happy. So, um, I'd go live on an island. That's my solution. I'd go find my own little island, make my own little YouTube videos, and have a little podcast from the middle of nowhere, Eric. That'd be
That would be fun.
that would be cool. So, but
The, did you hear about the House Bill 7031 that DeSantis signed that goes into effect October 1st?
what is that one?
This is for commercial leases no longer having to pay sales tax.
Yes, yes, yeah,
That should be interesting to see how that plays out.
yeah.
For the small person that's renting their little office space downtown
My
to
broker.
big to like Publix if they're
Yeah,
leasing their shopping plaza. It could be a big range of things. It'll be interesting to see what that tax loss is going to do if there's going to have any type of impact on the state.
yeah, yeah. I saw that. That's a pretty cool one. That's being interesting to see how that works. I know my broker was talking about it because she has an office, so and has to
And
pay
those
that.
aren't cheap.
Nope, nope.
And she's going to save like 4%, give or take.
I hope she saves
Yep.
more money. She saves, puts more money in her pocket, which helps her family, but also can help our business and grow the company. And yeah, so we'll see what happens. I'm sure that's great. I'm sure a lot of people are very excited about that. Well, I love all the questions. Thank you guys. Thank you for participating in this. It really means a lot when you guys ask questions. I try to answer the questions the best we can. Eric, love having you here, man. Thanks for
This
doing
is
it. But
fun.
it makes it more fun. And look, guys, this is just my way to get with you. Like, these live streams are my way to kind of talk to you one-on-one, kind of just BS about what's going on, about stuff that I'm not going to make a video about. I love making the videos. That's where tomorrow I get to go shoot a video. I'm excited. I got some cool stuff lined up. Got a cool coffee shop I'm going to go support. And I love highlighting small businesses. Like I said, if y'all haven't realized already, if I could do a travel channel about Florida and nothing but that and live off that, I would, but I can't because it doesn't pay the bills. So I have to sell real estate. But in between, I take a little vacation. I go visit someone cool up north and make a video. I go hang out with Eric. We're going to show you some cool stuff up there. And it's a lot of fun to make those videos and share what's cool about Florida. Man, Florida has so many cool things, Eric. Like, I haven't even been to Central Florida, beyond Disney area,
Uh-huh.
right? Like, I've driven through Ocala. I've driven through Gainesville, but there's some cool places up there.
Go to like Little Winter
Devil's
Park.
Hole, like, and that stuff.
Oh,
Like,
I want to go there. I've never
Yeah.
been. We've gone kayaking in the Ocala off the springs at the Ocala National Forest, and that was
yeah,
amazing. Yeah.
some really cool stuff. And what I want to do is I want to visit these small towns again, tell the history, because I think it's important to know your history. It's cool to learn where a place came from, how it got its name. Like, did you know I did the video on Stewart? Did you know that Stewart, its name wasn't originally Stewart? The first name of the city was named after a German immigrant who owned land there, and they were doing pineapples, and it was Potsdam. The name of the Stewart was called Potsdam. But every time the train would come in, the guy in the train, when he'd pull into the town, he would say, "We're now pulling into Damn Potts," and he said Damn Potts, and they didn't like that. The city was so offended by that they found another owner of land who happened to be named Stewart, and so they changed the
Oh,
name to City Stewart. But that was a cool name. And Sebastian used to be Saint Sebastian, and before that, it was New Haven, which
oh, I
someone
didn't know that. I know the river is still Saint Sebastian
it
River.
is Saint Sebastian, but it was called
Yeah.
New Haven, and then they changed it to Saint Sebastian, and they dropped Saint, and it came. So yeah, so that's fun little. I'm geeky, nerding out on history. So what is to say? That video Sebastian made was world class. Oh, dude, I tell you, he's a good guy. You still
All
owe me
right,
dinner. You
Carl.
still got to buy me dinner, Carl, but I'll take the no. Yeah, I had fun with that, man. I'm trying. Hey, listen, I'm trying to work on my skills. I'm trying to be better at it. I'm not perfect. We all make mistakes when we're making our videos, right, Eric? Just
Yep,
sometimes
but they're fun to do. I really get into it. I enjoy the whole process from beginning to end and doing the
yeah.
research. And yeah,
It's cool. It's fun to show where we live and talk about stuff and highlight things. So when these people come down and look, if you aren't moving here, that's fine. But if you come down, say hi to me. If you see me out in the street, say hi. If you see Eric, say hi. And if you need to get in touch with me, if you're looking and you're up in the area up in Cocoa Beach, reach out to me. I'll put you in touch with Eric, and I got all his contact information. And yeah, Carl, see you soon. Yes, sir. I look forward to meeting you. Definitely looking forward to have a drink with you, buddy. You've been a good fan and supporter all time. And yeah, guys, if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe to the channel. I make videos every Sunday at 10 a.m. I do a live stream on Wednesdays when I can, like this. Eric, when do you put your videos up for people? I know you took a little break for a while, but I know you're getting back into it.
I'm back into it. Friday at 10 is when my YouTube's hit, and throughout the week on Instagram and
10 a.m.
TikTok and all those. Yes, 10 a.m.
Cool. Good. Okay, so
Yep, I got the blog that hits. I got the video that hits the same time, same topic, just different formats.
Very cool. So check his stuff out and enjoy the rest of your week, folks. Look for the video Sunday. It's going to be a fun one. I'm going to get back out, doing what I do. We're going to be here in Palm Beach County. Cool little town, cool shops, meeting locals, more history, fun stuff, more beer, and love that. And one last, would your house have to be paid off in order for the no tax? Hold on a second. This last question, real quick.
I haven't seen that definitively. He says you're a homeowner, so that doesn't. Some people are reading it that you have to own your house free and clear, and others are. I own this house, even though I have my mortgage on the property. I own this house, and it's my homestead. The homestead is the key thing.
Yeah. Thanks, Michael. Thank you for throwing questions, and thank all of you guys. I appreciate it. And Eric, brother, thank you, man. Thanks for coming on.
Good.
I really appreciate that. Made it an hour long, easy, and thanks for covering my butt there when I didn't realize I wasn't sharing the screen with everybody.
Having a co-host works.
Yeah. Thanks, Mike. Thank you very much, guys. All right. Well, everyone, we appreciate you. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you Sunday at 10 a.m. And wherever you are in the world, get out and enjoy paradise. Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers, Eric.
Yeah, man.
And done.